Time to talk about another archetype. Yay! Some of you are out there like, yay! And some of you are like, oh, no, this is boring. It's not boring once you really understand this information and how powerful it is to see what our own archetypes are and the archetypes of those closest to us, so that we know how to powerfully, if it's us, how to powerfully move our archetype into the light, and if it's the people around us, how to powerfully engage with it. So today's archetype is, first of all, one of my own, and secondly, one that I see quite a bit. And it is the archetype of the eternal child. It's what it sounds like. It's the people that have a hard time growing up, for good and for bad, right? So let's talk about the light of the eternal child. Today I'm a unicorn cup to talk about the eternal child. Anyway, so in the light, the eternal child is very young. They're young in spirit and usually young in body. A lot of times people who have the eternal child archetype look younger than their age. I'm not saying I look great for my age, but I am saying a lot of people are surprised when they find out I'm almost 50. They right? I can still do cartwheels. I can still do the splits and headstands, and I still run around, and I've even been known to climb a tree or two recently. People with the eternal child archetype, everything is seen through fresh eyes. So for me, right, every time I see a sunset or a sunrise or the moon, I'm like, oh my gosh, look how beautiful it is. The ability to appreciate beauty, the lack of cynicism, just a joyful, childlike, fresh, almost innocent spirit. That's the eternal child. And fun, playful, enthusiastic. Is this you? Is it you, or who is it? I guarantee if it's not you, you definitely know someone who has this archetype. I'll see a 90-year-old with this archetype, and they are just having so much bliss over a fresh chocolate chip cookie or something. Let's see what else. The eternal child. A lot of people with this archetype will choose to go into professions where there's a lot of variety. So actors, performers of all kinds. This is a very common archetype for actors to have. Let's see who else has this. What other professions do they go into? Artists. A lot of artists have this archetype, and they're always seeing things through fresh eyes. Teachers. It's wonderful to have a teacher with the eternal child archetype. They're really fun. If you have a fun aunt, she probably has the eternal child archetype. If you are the fun aunt or uncle, you probably have the eternal child archetype. Now the shadow. Peter Pan syndrome. We don't want to grow up. We don't want to have too much responsibility or pressure. Some people with the eternal child archetype have a very hard time with authority figures. They don't like to be told what to do. Kind of like me, being completely psychologically unemployable at this point in my life. Let's see. Especially financially. People with the eternal child archetype will sometimes resist paying the bills. They would love somebody else to support them. In that way, they can be a little bit like the princess, the damsel in distress. They will want to only do what is fun. Now, wanting to only do what is fun can actually be used in the light. It can actually be used as a positive when it's used in how can I make this thing that needs to be done more fun. But when it's used as an avoidant behavior, that is in the shadow. So the medicine for the shadow of the eternal child is actually creativity. How do I get more creative? How do I still do what needs to be done, take care of my obligations and responsibilities, pay my damn bills, but in a way that really works for me? Outside of the box thinking, right? Using our imagination. And the good news is that everyone with the eternal child archetype, at least that I've ever known, has a wonderful and vivid imagination. This is a really fun archetype. It can be frustrating if you are in a romantic relationship with this archetype and you're someone who's a little more serious. Usually, this will be the person who everyone wants to be around, but who is driving their spouse crazy because they may not be being super responsible. I don't know, you'd have to ask my ex-husbands about that. Personally, I love this archetype and have many of my closest friends who share this with me. And I think it's great to always be seeing things like you're seeing it for the very first time, to be joyful and enthusiastic, but I can definitely see how irritating it could get, especially in the shadow. Even the light of this archetype, though, can be irritating to certain other archetypes, some of the more serious ones like the Stoic, which we will get into eventually. So, who is it? Who is it in your life who has the eternal child? Is it you or is it someone else? As always, I want to hear about it. This is a really fun one, so be thinking about it. May your coffee be strong and your life be blessed. Thank you so much for watching this video. Please like and subscribe. It really helps out my channel. And if you would be interested in working with me further, you can check out DawniAngel.com. I would love to come speak to your group, come to your business to do a training, be on your podcast, my personal favorite, or even work with you one-on-one.